Welcome aboard, everyone.
What exactly is AlgoBox, and why do our traders absolutely love it?
Plus Vinny _AlgoBox Pro said we are lit.
Michael Oates room.
Alrighty then, mic check. Let's get this thing rolling. It is Mentorship Monday on a Tuesday. We had a little bit of a holiday in there. Hope everyone is doing well. Let's get to some things here this evening. We've got a lot to cover as usual. I am going to make a first announcement that the those of you guys who are going through the 120-day program, the different sections of 40, I'm actually going to be releasing 3 of those videos starting either tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, on each of the section videos. So we'll spend less time on that in the Mentorship Monday videos with you guys. If you do have specific questions, we are going to be on open mic. In fact, I'm going to open the microphones right now over there in the Discord channel chat. I'm going to click on the Vinny Jams Live section right now. So we are open over there if you guys do want to get on the microphone later this evening as we start to answer questions. I'm going to go to the Ask Vinny Questions section inside of the Discord channel chat, and I'll show you guys that here now. After we get taken care of a few of those housekeeping items, don't forget that trading is risky. Make sure you understand everything here on this disclaimer disclosure page, and before you get into trading, know that you can lose it all. But if trading is for you, this might also be the place for you. Welcome aboard. Again, my name is Vinny Emini, and the crew is here with us. What's up, everybody? Shout outs to Manuel, John, Ninja Scout, Jacqueline, Ace, Creon, Darty, Cart. What's up, everybody? Let's get into it here. I'm going to go straight to the Ask Vinny Questions section. Some folks had already loaded up some questions for us here this evening. I'll be doing some live examples, going to go through some of the videos over here on the left hand side for the trade videos review. So if you have wanted me to go through your videos to do some critique on you, if you want some feedback on how you're doing, you can always post your video here. We'll be doing those on the Mentorship Mondays, and throughout the weeks I'll be doing more of those as I get some of these legal matters out of the way. We have caught Jigsaw trading, one of the most disgusting and disturbing scammers in the entire trading industry. Jigsaw has literally taken the cake above all other scammers. The depth of disgustingness that they were willing to go to hire hackers and hitmen, I have never seen, no even could have considered a group going to that length, especially with a name and title that Jigsaw has had, one of the largest software trading providers out there. But so we're so worried about AlgoBox taking over their market share that they decided to go to extreme lengths to try to get us shut down, and going after me personally because they thought they were protected from their Thailand protections there. But we won't go into too much of that here tonight. Go back and watch the videos on the Jigsaw exposure video. Absolutely disgusting. Thank you guys for all the support with me and my family. It has been a mentally taxing time, but man, feels so good to bust bad guys, I will tell you that. Okay, so let's go into those Ask Vinny Questions sections, as I said we were going to go into, and here we go. Starting with Atindria, and said, hey Vinny, 3 questions arose from the Mervault Alert Discord. What is it for? The speedometer. How's the speedometer used? All right, so first of all, shout outs to Mervault Alert Discord. If you guys have not heard of them, they are, and I believe it's all, I don't think it's all Argentine, but the majority of the individuals there are in Argentina. We do have a Spanish room in our room, but Mervault has a rather large following, huge following out there on YouTube. Actually, he's bigger than Trades by Matt out there, which we found I'm going to be posting a funny video here later tonight showing you guys that you guys who have been wondering, how did Trades by Matt grow so quickly? Well, he's buying subscribers, and so is ICT. We'll show that evidence here tomorrow. But Mervault, great, huge group over there, and a lot of Spanish speaking folks. I don't speak Spanish too well. My wife is very fluent in it. I had 3 years of Spanish, so I get by. But shout outs to all you guys over there in the Spanish community, and we do have a lot of folks supporting that now as well. And I saw a lot of folks actually doing screen shares over there in Alert Mervault the last few days, and very proud of that group over there. So to answer their question there, they asked, what is the speedometer used for? This is a brand new tool inside of our belt here, and we don't really have a specific set. Well, we have a use for it, but we don't have numbers for it. What we're trying to do is use the speedometer to tell us what is the proper market speed. I want to say the proper is a little bit of a, that sounds like there's a one size fits all. Okay, what is the perfect speed of market caps for you? Okay, because one person might be different than another. I know a lot of people think that, you know, I trade NASDAQ and that it's a little bit too fast for them. Again, I personally love the speed, right? So for me, okay, that's so what is the I love speed, right? And that's the question. What is the number? And what we're trying to do is put a quantitative number on that speed, okay? So how do we quantitatively state the quote speed? Because a lot of speed has to do with feeling, right? You know, the feeling when the markets are just going absolutely perfect at your pace, right? You're like, oh man, I love it today. It's candy day. The feeling is so perfect. It's feeling really good, really nice. And that feeling, how do we define that though? I don't want to just say, oh, it feels right today, right? It's like, well, how do you tell your friend? Well, it's like, well, what's the speed of feels good, right? That's exactly what we want to do with the speedometer. So here enters the speedometer, okay? Our speedometer is, it does exactly what it says. We are actually trying to determine what is the speed based in BPM. So what is BPM? BPM. This is going to be bars per minute, okay? How many bars per minute am I printing? So what is the proper speed? What I have found for me in my current analysis, and again, this can change. I don't have, you need statistically viable data. You don't want to find an anomaly, but during our current market conditions, as long as we've only released this, it's been out for about a month and a half right now. Right now, I would like you guys to compare yours. I'd like to bring this up tonight. You guys all start to kind of think through this as we progress through this week. 45 is a very nice number for me. 45 bars per minute. Now I'm gauging this off of the NASDAQ 2s and 3s, okay, for me. Now this is going to adjust. BPM is not going to be just a single market event, although it could be multiples. Is 45 bars per minute good on all instruments? That is likely, okay? Now I am, you know, my main bread and butter, what I'm most familiar with is NASDAQ. So I am currently kind of recording mentally for myself when a good day comes, when I'm like, man, the markets are just perfect timing. I've got a candy day right here. My candy day right now is currently assessed at 45, okay? I'm gonna do a new slide here. I want you guys to kind of start to hone in on this and find what yours is going to be, or see if you agree with me, okay? So 45 BPM for me equals Vinny's perfect candy day. Now, what is a candy day? We've defined this a lot of other videos. You're going to go back and watch our video. This is that day where just things are just clicking. You are punching your trades. Those trades 1 through 5 are just feeling really good, licking it through, and just crushing it, right? That candy day. How do you define it? What I'm trying to do is define it quantitatively so that I can then put an alert on it. You guys see where I'm going with this? You guys understand what we can do with that, how powerful this is. Imagine being able to come to the market when the market is, I don't know, like I would be able to define a range. What I want to be able to do is with a new tool is create an alert for the range. Okay, so my range for that might start at 30. So I may want it to be actually probably maybe closer, 35 to 50, because 45 would fall right in the middle of that. I want to start getting an alert right there at that speed, right? So if you get that down over there in the comments right now, type me speed. If you get it, you got the speed, you understand the speed. If you have a question around what this means for that range, go ahead and put in the question there. I want to make sure this is clear. But what I'm trying to use that speedometer for is I want you to ask yourself, what is your perfect speed? Okay, when you feel that perfect candy day, look down at the bars per minute. Kind of scroll back and look at the speed when you took those trades and go look what was the BPM when I took that trade. Okay, here's the question you want to ask yourself if you're taking your notes for what you're going to be doing with the speedometer. Okay, what speed in BPM was the market when you were having a great day? Go to the trade, maybe your favorite trade. Okay, we're gonna call it, how about we call it the favorite trade? Okay, this is what you want to do. You want to go and look at what that BPM was during your absolute favorite trade when, I don't know, maybe one that you were able to capture a runner. Maybe it was during a double cross, double move where you just had that perfect opportunity to enter in on that trade position, and then write it down. Okay, take that speed, write it down, and then start to see what you see. So, you know, maybe the first time you write it down and you saw that it was like mine, it was 45. Now, mind you, if you're doing a higher time frame, this is going to be a lot slower, right? That's equivalent to a 45 that I'm getting on a 2s or 3s might be equivalent to like 10, right? It might be the perfect 10 on, say, the 5s or the 6s. Now, I hope you guys, I hope I'm not losing anybody. What I'm talking about are algo bars, okay? I am also defining this by algo bars, particularly why algo bars? Because algo bars have defined tick movement, okay? Which is another advantage of using our algo bars. Range bars would be okay as well if you're a range bar player. That's okay as long as you are using a defined bar. Make sure that you are using a defined bar, which is going to be a range bar or an algo bar. Okay, you guys understand that? We're good. If you guys have any question on that, let me know. Let me see. Did I see any questions? Oh, everybody was talking about speed. You're all good with that? I didn't see any questions. Vinny, ready for a great learning session? Awesome. Okay, if there are any questions, I am going to answer those over there in the YouTube channel chat as well. So put your questions there as we go along. Okay, so 45 might be equal to 10 on a higher time frame. Remember, this is the 2s, right? So obviously it's like faster here, but that same speed might translate to something else. So there's no perfect answer here, which is why we have the speedometer there for you. You can apply this to any time frame. This is the cool part about this, and this is where I don't want to lose you on it. Okay. How do we use it on any time frame? I'm showing it right here on this kind of example. A 45 might be equivalent to a 10 BPM on a 5s or 6. If you go even higher, right, then you may have to start changing that. And maybe 45 isn't the right one. Maybe you want it to be a little bit faster, because when what you want is you're looking for a, let's say that you have found, you're trading a higher time frame, and you found that on that higher time frame, it was going at like 5 BPM. Now, that sounds slow, but think about this. If it's 5 BPM, but it's 5 BPM on a 21 range bar, that means that is 5 bars printed, which is going to be times 21. You're talking about over 100, right? You're talking about 105 ticks, because that's what this is defined by a range bar, 21 per, right? Times 5 bars. That means over 1 minute, you moved 105 ticks, right? So if you are a player that wants to get those big ones going, maybe you are waiting until you want to maybe set your alert for the 25 range when I've got 5. You got that? So this is adaptable. Again, I'm going to give you guys a set of ranges for myself that I like. Again, it's probably going to be more lower time frame because I don't trade on the higher time frames. I look for a setup on the higher time frame, then I look for a filter, then I get timing, and then I've got my defined direction, and I wait for one, I stalk it, and I press the button, right? You guys know my method. I just move from top to bottom. Order of operations, I'm trying to hit a bag. I want to hit 10, 15, 25 ticks, and I'm good, right? That's how I like to play. It's how I teach you guys how to play, because I know that if you can do it like I do it, I know that you can scale up, okay? Harder to scale down, in my opinion, but much easier to scale up when it comes to time frames, okay? Because slowing down is easier. However, it's not as easy to scale up on sizing your contracts, okay? Not to be confused with sizing your contracts, but hopefully you guys understand that as you move up time frames, things slow down. You have more time to make decisions on the higher time frames. So in my opinion, that gets a bit easier. However, you also increase your risk. So while it may be easier to enter, your decisions better be accurate and you better be right on it, because those start to increase your risk. Now, I like a 21 range because with the one single bar at 25 ticks max loss, this is still within a 21 tick range. So you're literally doing a +4 on a 21 bar, right? Now the problem starts to come, in my opinion, when you start getting upwards of over 25, when you start to hit the 26 or above. Now you're starting to move into ranges where I'm not comfortable taking a loss. I don't want to take a loss more than 25 ticks ever. This is a hard stop, hard loss for me, because I want to be able to maintain my accuracy on the lower time frames. But if I'm trading higher time frames, this goes out the window, right? You need to do different ATMs. So I want to talk about time frames with ATMs. Okay. Your ATM should be defined by what ranges that you are trading on. Again, if you are following along with our system, you're doing it my methodology, your ATMs that I have put in the default out of the box is going to be fine for you. We got a hard stop at 25. You're using mental stops behind boxes, crosses, or dots, right? Those are our three stop types, along with our advanced stop strategy, which you guys need to learn in the videos, okay? But I'm talking to folks who do want to scale. If you want to go higher time frames, you got higher risk, you need to increase your ATMs, but that also means that your targets are also larger. So that's the good news, right? You take the good with the bad. Hopefully you guys understand that as we progress through, but the speedometer is going to help you no matter what time frame you're on. You are going to be able to use the speedometer to look and define it for yourself. Now, how would I do this without having to deal with real market conditions? Take that speedometer and use it in market replay. Okay, in market replay, go find those perfect days where you see those perfect prints when you're like, oh, there's a perfect J hook. I want to play that big time frame or small time frame, doesn't really matter. Take the speedometer, write it down, get that number for yourself, and start to think about what that range is. In our, not in the next release, but in the release that we're going to be putting at the end of the summer, we will have a speedometer check. We don't know what we're going to call it quite yet, but for us to be able to determine what that range is, and we will give you an alert for that speedometer. Okay. Now, what's that going to give us? That means you can, here's my idea, is come to the desk. Okay, right? You can be like, look, you're like, Vinny, when should I sit down at my desk? I tell you, like, whenever the market's moving at your speed, right? Well, now you'll be able to go, look, I could set an alert for myself. We'll even have it where if NinjaTrader already has the ability to send an email, you'll be able to send an email to yourself, to your text on your phone to go, oh, hey, speedometer is currently reading 30, right? Alert at 30. Hey, Vinny, you might want to come to the desk. Isn't that cool? So we start to go above 30, or maybe I want to set it even closer to my 45. I might set it where when that alert hits greater than 40, boom, alert me, right? So I come in and I'll go over to the desk. Now, there's going to be a, some point that speedometer is going to go too fast. You need to define that for yourself too, right? At what point is it too high? Okay, is it over 50? Is it over 60? There are some times, when market open, for instance, or if you're talking about around a market moving event like an FOMC, it's going to be way too fast. So you may want to stay away from the markets with that as well. Okay. And with that alert, we'll also probably have some color codings around that as well, and some defaults that I personally like, right? But an alert that says, get you some. You want an alert that says, get you some. All right, Kiwi, I'm on it. Let's see. What's oh, you got to get in with one with us. Fantastic. Good to have you with us, sir. Can you elaborate on the strategies to be used around the Cypher, 50 Cent, and Butterfly? Ian, we'll definitely let me put that in the Ask Me Any Questions section here. I'm going to copy it over, and I'll make sure I'll answer that question here this evening as well. Oh, you just did. Right there. Okay, so we'll come back here in just a moment. So hopefully we answered that question on speedometer. That is a newer tool for ourselves, and we'll have a separate video on that, but I wanted to cover that here tonight because it was in the question section. What information does the Ultimate OBOS provide, and how are the violet triangles used? Great question on that. Let me see. Do I have any? Let's do this. I'm going to answer that question as we do the live section of this. And yeah, we'll come back to that question as we do the video here in just a moment. Okay. and we will get those answered for you. But the short answer is those violet triangles, those are divergence. We're talking about divergence on Ultimate Obos. Ultimate Obos is a 3 time frame oscillator, custom, very, very cool. And yes, it's very powerful. So by itself, when you have the power of the Ultimate 3 time frame Obos plus divergence of that, very, very powerful, which is why those purple triangles hit so well. All right. Any questions? If everybody's good to go to the next section, how about everybody type in the word harmonics? Let's see who can type harmonics without, let's see, can you spell it? One of those words that oftentimes gets misspelled. So everybody type in harmonics in the chat if you're ready for the harmonics section, talking about the cipher, the 50 cent, and the butterfly, in my opinions. Now, he's specifically asking about particular harmonics here. Now, you might be asking in general what those are, but I'm going to talk to you guys about how I approach harmonics, which is semi non-traditional, but also has some traditional stuff in it as to why harmonics are so powerful to begin with. Okay, so what's up with harmonics? So a harmonic pattern is where you get multi-fib level lengths of impulse legs that are equal to series that unfold like Fibonacci sequences. So you're talking about your 618s, your 78 sixes, your 28 sevens, your 50%, all of those, when they line up in certain series, harmonics have a name. Okay, so specifically he was talking about a few on the list: cipher, butterfly. There are many. Okay, you're talking about crabs, you're talking about deep crabs. There are lots of different shapes. Okay, and generally I'm going to classify all these generally into the classification of shapes or structures. Okay, structures. And I do want to have a structure. I want to look at the structure of the price action. Again, a lot of price action traders, they are actually pattern traders. They just don't like to call themselves pattern traders because they like to be like, oh, price action. I don't know when price action got to be a popular name for people. I think it's just, you know, sometimes names that are cool, they just stick. Okay, so price action is actually just pattern trading. And people can argue with me about that all day, but they're not using any volume or other types of analysis. It's patterns. Okay, so patterns. Structures, I think, are more powerful. Now, oftentimes they're not going to talk about wedges and things, but they're all about, you know, Fibonacci retracements back, and they're looking at support and resistance levels. Very basic crap, in my opinion. However, I do think you still need to know what the structure is. Okay, harmonics are complex structures. Okay, so if you're taking your notes here, these are more complex structures, and I want to call them complex because they're actually more difficult to do. In fact, if you have ever tried to draw one of these by hand, you will drive yourself insane about the number. I don't know. First time you might be, okay, that was fun. Second time, all right. Third time, you're like, wow, that's kind of challenging. When you get to about your 5th, 6th time, you're going to be exhausted from having to measure these out. There's multiple measurements all the way along. You've got to do X, A, B, C, D. You're talking about 3 or 4 measurements on every different type of shape, and you've got to know exactly that they're the perfect number. You've got to deal with well, what if it's like 1 or 2 ticks off of perfection? Do you want absolute perfection, or do you want a lossy join, which is what we have? We have a lossy join, proprietary. I'm not going to talk to you guys about how I range those internally, but there are proprietary methods inside that we do it so that it doesn't have to be absolutely exact, but it does need to be dang near perfect, right? For ourselves, especially when we're doing PPRZs, which is a projection of a PRZ, which is a predicted PRZ that we can see into the future, and I'm going to talk about what that is here in just a moment. But his question particularly around those are, so what's up with the strategies around these, and do we have specific strategies around cipher, butterfly, and crabs? Okay, and the sad answer for you is no. Now, this might come as a surprise to you because there is no, like the ones that you listed here, out of the ones that you're listing, there's nothing special about those harmonics, but let me talk to you about ones that are so that you'll know the difference and why as far as I approach it. Now, other people approach them in different ways. Some people just swear up and down by ciphers. Okay, in fact, cipher was one of the very first ones I ever drew because I think cipher sounds cool. Like thinking of like, what's the coolest names harmonic that you like? Cipher is cool. You guys type over to me in the comments. I'm curious, what are y'all's favorite harmonics? And tell me why, because I'm actually kind of curious, you know, if you like it, is it because the name of it? Is it because the shape of it? Is it because of, I don't know, is it because of my teachings where I've taught you that a diamond is powerful and a shark? I see a lot of people typing in the sharks. There's no surprise there. Why is that? I personally believe the shark is one of the most powerful, not necessarily because of its shape and how often it hits, but more what you can do with a shark, and I'm going to show you guys that. So I personally have two classifications of these. I have the generic harmonic, and then I have special harmonics. So what are the differences in our generic versus our special? The ones that you listed, I apologize, I don't have my screen up here for the individual person who put that in. Ooh, do we have a cool new... Oh, Curtis just put in a cool vote thing. Ooh, this is fancy. I need to take a screenshot of that. What is your favorite harmonic? And there's a selectable poll they can do inside of the chat. Oh, that's cool. Way cool. All right, totally digging it. Totally digging it. So we'll find out. Yeah, take the poll over there in the chat. I didn't even know we could do that. Cool stuff. Awesome job, Curtis. I'm digging it. All right, so generic. Now remember, this is Vinny's method. This is not, you're not going to learn this from a book anywhere. This is how I approach things. This is the what I call cyborg trading methodology that I have come up with, right? So things like the bow, cyborg, you can hear that, comes from me. My personal method across targeting the markets via video game. Okay, so I generically put them into harmonics, shapes that falls into ciphers, butterflies, crabs, deep crabs, yada yada. So let's talk about what are a few specials. There are not very many of them. That's what. Wow, did I just put harmonics? I just realized I typed in harmonics. They're not gonna let me undo that, are they? No, they're not. That's okay. So special harmonics. Let's talk about the special harmonics, because the generic ones is going to be everything else. Okay, so the ones that we care about are going to be these right here. Okay, shark, diamond. That's it. The sharks and diamonds have a special property the way that I approach these two. I should have used a different color on that, but there we go. All right, a little bit retentive on that. All right, so sharks and diamonds. Why? Well, the diamond I actually classify as one of the weakest. Okay, and this one here I classify as the strongest. And why might that be? So the shark itself has one of the largest PRZs. One of the things about the shark, largest zone there, and then diamond has the biggest potential to be combined with a dot. Okay, all about the dots. Let's just call them fib dots for now to be short, but the fibella dots that we use, you are going to want to pair those with the diamonds. That diamond, because it's going to be weak, that means anything else that fires off in that diamond is now going to be more validated. Okay, the diamond itself is actually a standard ABCD pattern. If you go look at what a diamond is, this is a name, and don't ask me why. Whoever invented these things decided that the diamond needed to be in the harmonics. That the diamond particularly is actually an Elliott wave. It is a standard Elliott wave, and an Elliott wave, if you have studied that theory, is ABCD. Okay, so you've got two legs of equal length. These two, A to B, is equal to C to D. And I won't go into that here tonight. You guys can go study Elliott wave. What we have done is taken all of those studies and combined them inside of AlgoBox to be very, very powerful. All right. You feel sorry for the bat and the crab. I know the bat and the crab, they just get a bad name. They're just they just are. But yes, all of our little animal names that we have. In fact, there's some that people are like, Vinny, why don't you add the wolf wave? And I'm like, I mean, you can get to a level where you're adding all kinds of them. And I have thought about adding wolf wave. Somebody was also wanting to do the I forget what the triple's called now. But there are a lot of people who argue that some others are harmonics, but again, some of them are actually their other patterns, but they're just renamed, like the diamond. And I don't know why they call it a harmonic, because again, it is an ABCD. Hence why it is one of the weakest, but it is in our repertoire, and we do often use those two legs. If you've been with me a long, long time, all the way back to 2016, you'll remember me talking about no flamingos rule. Let's pop quiz this one and see how many Founders Club members we have Who remembers the no flamingos rule? How many of you guys have been around long enough to know about no flamingos? Probably not too many, but only Founders Club members would have remembered this all the way back to my very first year of things. No flamingos means we need 2 legs to stand on. Okay, the only thing that can stand on a single leg is a flamingo. Okay, and we used to joke about this, but this was my way to is creating a memory peg in your mind to remember that we are not going to no single leg. If a leg comes back, or we got a single impulse leg, no action, none, 0. Do not take action on a single leg. So it was no flamingos, because flamingos they were just got issues like, well, there's a pink bird and all that kind of stuff. We had a lot of fun with that, but 2 legs to stand on. So ABCD requires that. Fidelidot took care of that for us. We don't take any entries without, well, I'd say not any of them. Some of them we do, like a J-hook doesn't have those, but we like to combine them with those others, and a Fidelidot is one way to do that, to make certain that we've got those 2 legs. Not a founder member, but you went and discussed this at 4 a.m. Yes, we have hit some histories with some of you guys, right? Can you draw that, Vinny, with your pink line? Yes, we should do that. Yes. Let me see. We've got gotta have a head on our flamingo here, little skinny neck, little fat body, and we got our little kinky leg, and there we go. Okay, no flamingos around here. Can't be having that. All right. So that comes in. We don't even talk about it anymore. You know why? You're like, well, Vinny, how come we don't hear you talk about it? Because our tools have gotten better over the years. This is for the trolls who continue to be like, yeah, but I saw you back in 2016. There was that one time with that crude oil trade, and you didn't obey your 5% rule, and you got wrecked that one day. So you must be a bad trader. For those Shalom Benzes of the analytics groups over there. Who continue to want to ride me for, I literally the other day, he was talking about an interview that I had where I was talking about my first 2 years into trading, and nearly 17, 18 years ago as a professional, and me talking about some of my struggles and blowouts early in my career. And he's like, you admitted one time that you blew out your accounts. Dude, that's an interesting way to use your words, but talking about somebody when they were, starting into it, acting as though that's what the same person that I am today. Anybody who's constantly reminding you of, your early past and things, like, you might want to ask them a question. Now, there are points in time when you need to do that. For instance, like ICT, when he's absolute complete fraud and going out there and saying that he's going to be taking donations and then pocketing the money and telling everybody he's worth $760 million, so you should follow him because of his prowess and whatnot. That's a different story. You should know the history there. I do think you should know the history. I think you should face the history, as long as you're willing to face the history and not pretend like the history doesn't exist. That's a difference. Okay, so without further ado, let's go on to how do we deal with those harmonics themselves. So the 2 classifications with the special ones, shark, just go watch the shark back and shark tail, okay? And these are combinations. We still don't use them by themselves. I always tell people, anybody who is talking about our harmonics particularly, shark is one of the closest ones to go ahead that you could use raw, okay? But the shark has the shark back versus the shark tail, okay? The shark back is basically playing the back of the PRZ, okay? Let me see if I can do any damage here creating a red shark here. Let's get my straight drawing tool here, and let's try to draw one without butchering it. Put it way over here so we get along like this, and this has to do with our gigantic PRZ. And again, this shark is special because it literally has one of the largest tails. And what we have done in our PRZ is we have put a line back here at the back if it is a certain size. Now, some of the ones that are super small, some people have said, hey, how come I don't see a line on the back of this one shark? It's probably because it's too small, okay? But what we want to see is a very large sized PRZ, okay? This box that is on a, if you're brand new to these, you really need to go and study some more stuff. But answering a lot of this tonight here on those harmonics, that PRZ shape on a shark is going to be one of the largest. So the entry on a shark back play is right here at this line. Okay, so what's the difference between a shark back entry, okay, and being T1 being right here at the front of the box versus a shark tail? A shark tail is oftentimes going to, well, not often, it is always followed by a shark back play. Okay, so a shark back play, if you're going to take a shark back, you're going to enter in right here. Your stop, a very small stop. The stop is right here. It's odd putting a stop as green, but we're on a red here, so you get the point. You're going to have to buy back to exit. Okay, so very, very small risk and very large reward by default out of the box with a shark back play, which is, you know, one of the coolest things about the shark back to begin with, and why a lot of players in our market or in our AlgoBox trade group, one of their favorites to trade. Thank you for whoever's posting those in the Discord channel chat there. So if you're in our Discord, you want to go check those out there, and if you're not in our Discord, you're definitely missing out. Head on over to our Discord channel chat, discord.gg/Vinny Emini, or head on to our website algoboxpro.com and click on the link to go into our room, and you'll see where all of our traders are hanging out. So huge risk reward play there on the shark back. Shark tail is where we take a loss, okay, very small loss, boom, exited, but somewhere back here something occurs behind this, which is either going to be a cross play or a dot. Maybe some of the price, let's do pink for price here, maybe the price action has come through here, starting to come in and does this number and does one of these, which ends up being a, should have a little pink thing like this, and all of a sudden we get a red dot back here. Looks like, oops, I should have done red. That's a little bit messy, but all of a sudden I get a dot back here behind the shark. So we kind of call that the shark tail. I think of it as being something that tails the shark, okay? You get that? Now, shark tail could be red, and then I'm gonna target down back inside the PRZ, or if it is green, I am always going with the color of the dot, okay? Some people have had this question. Again, this is all answered in the strategy videos, but somebody asked tonight, what are the strategies to go along with these? So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, tap into a lot of the pieces of this strategy, but make sure you go and watch the full videos on those strategies to get all the full details on those if you haven't already, and those are available on our website and in our Discord channel chat. You can go check those out. The shark back play is going to be back behind it. I'm sorry, the shark tail is going to be the play right back behind it. If it's green, we're going long. If it's red, we're going short. Now, you're going to say, well, what about a blue? Okay, well, blue is also an up, and pink is our short color. Okay, we got two short colors, red and pink, and we've got two long colors, blue and green. And again, you guys who have been with us for a while already know that. Everything that we do here is majority of the time going to be color-coded for you. So there we go. All right, open the floor for questions on any of the shark back plays. So look out for the large white sharks. Yeah, handle my accounts as someone, he says, never fail. Okay, one of the ones for crosses. So what do you do with the cross back there? It's a good question. So if you have a PRZ, and that shows here on the back of a shark back, and if it is a cross, so the question is that a long or a short? Well, that cross is going to be determined by the MACV. Okay, write this down. Now, by default, if the MACV is semi-neutral or I'm neutral across the boards, so what happens if I'm neutral? Let's talk about neutral first. If I'm neutral, then I'm going to go with the color of the PRZ. Okay? Because if the cross is white, I don't have a white drawing tool, unfortunately, but pretend that's white. Okay, so that is a white cross back here. If by default I want to short back down inside, by default, on two instances, if the MACV is neutral or if it's red. However, if the MACV is green, then this all of a sudden changes. So if MACV is nice and got, I'm talking about MACV Ultimate here mainly because you want to go with the majority of the instruments that are for you. Now again, if you're trading something outside of the E-minis, then you're going to need to look at just the MACV related to your instrument. But if you've got the MACV Ultimate, that's the big U, they're in our Discord channel chat, that is going to be for the E-minis, all four. Okay, so again, more powerful because you're getting everything. Whatever that color is, if it's neutral or if it's green, go with that color. So if the MACV Ultra is green, you guys tell me, if I get a cross and the MACV is green, do I go long or short? Type in the chat if you know the answer to this pop quiz question. Do we go long or do we go short? The question is, if the MACV Ultimate says it's green, we get a cross at the back, do we go long? Do we go short? Bingo. I'm seeing a bunch of longs. If you said long, yes. If you hesitated and thought, well, we're still short because everything back behind a shark is going to be the color of the red, it's not, okay? You are anything outside of that box. Once it's outside of the box, it is powered up, yes, but it is powered up in the direction of the MACV. And oftentimes what you'll see is if you get a structure break, okay, what happens on structure breaks? A structure break can be very powerful, right? We call them piercers on a Fibelodot, for instance, but a break of a shark also can be very powerful. So if you get a setup back behind the back of a shark, that means this thing got completely negated. Wow, something is in play there. Oftentimes we want to take that and run. It's very good. It's going to be more rare that one of these breaks when, you know, you've already got, if the MACV Ultimate is all red, okay, it's going to be a very rare case scenario that a red shark is going to be broken, right? But that might be the beginning of a new direction. That might be, you know, a shift in directional sentiment, which will oftentimes be accompanied by what? Pop quiz. What is a directional shift often accompanied by? Tricky. Give a hint. It's at the bottom of your chart. What is that typically going to be accompanied by? A shift in structural direction. Delta! Boom! Delta. Yes, Flowmaster Delta. If that Flowmaster Delta is going to be shifting, you will likely, when you see a break of one of these sharks, when you are all red, and then you'll see a shark break, look down there and look to see if you see a big fat Delta shift from the red, and we get one of those big flags. Looks like this, right? But in the green on this side, right? This will be a big Delta. Anyway, go watch those videos on that. Ready ups again, especially if you got a double Delta, right? Double Delta, very, very cool. You know that we've got those coming in. That is no retail is making that hit. Okay, when that happens and you get that double Delta in the new direction, you know that is not retail. It's too much size, too much speed, too much of the hits on the bid or ask. In this case, it's going to be the ask. It's pushing. There's no way, right? So that's what that is. Can two colored crosses qualify as a double cross, double move, regardless of their color? Okay, guess who just asked a question about cross colors? Okay, we had multiple cross colors. If you guys have been around, he's talking about some legacy questions. I want to square this right now. If you were asking about the colors of cross, oh wait, hold on. You're talking about alpha omegas. I believe he's talking about alpha omegas. Okay. Yes, those are technically crosses, but we call them Death Stars. So make sure your nomenclature is proper. I think you are talking about, can two colored crosses qualify as a double cross, double move, regardless of their color? So he's talking about alpha omegas. I don't have, well, in general, no. But there is a potential that could be. I need to go look at that. That's a good question. You're talking about alpha omegas. You know what? That's a great question. Let's put that in the channel chat here. Alpha Omega is another one of those brand new tools that we're using. I'm using that to show auction imbalances. So we'll have to look at that. That is not a cross though, so not to be confused with crosses. When we say crosses, we say something different. I know they look like, visually they look like crosses, but they've got, you know, a square box in the center and they're distinctively visually different. But yeah, I know what you're saying. So as far as doubles, two auction imbalances in the same location, does that qualify as a double cross, double move? Not usually. In fact, that means we're probably reversing. The auction imbalance tends to mean we're about to change direction here. In general, okay, if you've moved up into an area, and that's what I'm assuming that you're picturing, because on a double cross double move, what does that require? First thing requirement, if you start one, you need an impulse leg. So this is a long direction, okay? And he's asking if you got regardless of the, so he said, I'm assuming he's saying red green. I think we would need an example. I would love it if you posted an example of one, but he's asking regardless of the color, if you had like say red green here, well that actually might be double cross double move then at that point, because they are opposite colors. However, if they were two of the same color, this is more likely that we are going to do a shakeout, push, and a fake down, and we're going to reverse direction. Good question there. Put that in the Ask Vinny questions section for me to go over in a more advanced level video, but good question. Good question. Let's see. Somebody else asked, rip. Is it long where I put my stop loss and references to the harmonic cross situation? Asked if it is long where I put in my stop loss in reference to the harmonic cross discussion. Oh, is that a new question? Or related to the one we were already talking about on harmonics? Because I don't think we talked about a harmonic cross. Relating to shark tail. Okay, yeah, related to shark tail. This is a always rule. Everybody should already know this. Again, if you don't know this, man, write it down. Okay, here's your night. Right, don't care what the cross. I wish I had white. I wish I could draw in white. Okay, yellow. Pretend this is white. This is not the white you are seeking. On anything that has a cross, any cross entry, a stop is always above or below the cross, depending on the direction that you're going. Okay, so if you are going short, then this is your stop. If you're going long, this is your stop. Simple. Anytime there is a cross, always. We have 3 different types of stops, in case anybody wants to know on that. We have 3 stops. And I'm not including the advanced stop strategy, but 3. Dots, crosses, boxes. That's the beautiful thing about our system. Very specific methods around everything we do. We try to eliminate all the gray areas so that your edge is defined by the tool set itself. Okay, a stop behind a dot, a stop behind a cross, a stop behind a box. You got that? And a box, what's a box? A box applies to 2 things. 2 finger and what? What other kind of boxes do we have besides 2 finger? Tell me in the comments. You guys tell me. Bam, Roxy nailed it. Was the first one there. PRZ. If you said PRZ, you got it. PRZ is also a box. Okay, so a stop on a 2 finger behind the box. On a PRZ, you got the shark back. Remember that shark back play? We had the box look like this. You had shark back. Here was your entry. Where's your stop go? Because you're trying to go short here, right? Your stop is behind the box. Right, this same box, if you have a 2 finger salute, would look like this. Right, here are your targets down below. Where's your stop go? Behind the box. So there you go. There are 3 types: dots, crosses, boxes. If you want to go into the advanced stop strategy, there is 1 or 2 options in there where I am playing inside of, usually behind a dot play, where I allow some wiggle room back behind there. For me personally, I've got a wiggle methodology, but I do not ever try to take what? Profits. If a trade is coming against me, we have broken that dot, I am no longer looking for profits. Now I am looking for an exit. I am looking to mitigate my loss. That's what those are the words I use. Mitigate the loss or reverse the trade. If I've reversed the position, if I use the reverse button, now I can make profits. But I need to make certain that I have reasons why. So that's advanced stop strategy, a whole video around that. But 3 types, what are they? Dots, crosses, boxes, right? Everybody got it? If you got it, type a 3 in the chat. We have how many? How many stop types do we have by default out of the box? What do we got? 3. Anybody ever asked how many stop types do we have? We have 3. If they ever ask you, well, if there's a cross involved, what is it? A box. Now, some people ask, what happens about a headshot? Okay, that's a little bit tricky, because on a headshot you have a dot and a cross. Okay, on a headshot it is the one exception where I would not, because there's a dot involved, I'm not stopping behind the dot. Okay, I am at the cross. It is the larger of the 2, so the stop will go behind the box. I'm sorry, wow, did you say the box? Behind the cross. I'm going to look at the cross. Look at the box there. So on a headshot, everybody get that? On a headshot, it is still a cross, stop, but when you're choosing between the 2, it's not, I'm not just bailing out. Although again, I'm not going to, no harm, no foul on that, but these usually tend to move so fast on a headshot if you're capable of tap tap and getting in and out that quickly on a headshot, hey man, you must be doing something special. All right, you got a serious capability with your hand-eye coordination and your trigger finger. you are the fastest draw in the West, kind of thing. But yes, hopefully that answers all those. Next question. All right, Alpha Omega, can 2 colored crosses qualify as double cross? That was a great one. I'm glad you guys put that in. We will come back to that for sure. Another one. Would you measure the shark box for targets on opposite colored dots or normal 10-15 targets? Measure leg like DCDM, cross box size to the opposite side. There's a lot going on there, Franco. I always get nervous when people are trying to mix a whole lot of stuff together. I would encourage you to know your strategies. Okay, go watch the video strategies on this. This is tough. Okay, you're coming close to. I think you're coming close to your end 120 days where you're about to go live. I'm very nervous about you asking this question. You should know the answers to this. How would you measure the shark boxes for targets? The first, I mean, it's a bad question to begin with. There's no measure for a target on a shark back play. Go back and watch a shark back play. The shark target is the front of the box. There is no measurement. Okay, I hope you would know that. On opposite color dots. So now he's saying inside of a shark, he's asking would be a normal 10 or 15 targets. So anytime a dot shows up inside of one of those, yes, that is always the same. Now, is it 10 and 15? No, it depends on which time frame you're entering in on. If you're on a 5s or above, right, then you're actually going to be 15, 25. If you're on a small, then you're going to be going 10, 15. Those should be defined already. That is an HMD. So at the point when you have a dot inside of a shark, what is that defined by? It's no longer just a shark back play. You're talking about an HMD. All right, so be very careful on that. And then measuring the leg like a DCDM. Okay, I don't know where we're talking about the measurements of legs on a shark. I mean, I'm wanting to understand what you're saying there, but this is just like, this is like a whole nother question itself. Measure the leg like a DCDM, shark box size to the opposite side. That's tough. That's tough on me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're asking. No, I would just follow the rules, and if you don't know it, leave it alone. So I would put it that way. Next one. See, what are the...
Vinny.
Yes.
The question that I have is, you know how we measure, because you mentioned on the previous when the shark is pierced and you get a dot on outside the box, opposite to the color of the box.
Okay.
So I'm asking is, you know how you measure out the DCDM for that leg? The box itself has a measurement, and we know that the entry on the shark back is the line, and your first target is the front of the bottom of the box or the top of the box, right? Well, if it's the opposite color dot on the shark tail, it's obviously you're going to go against the box. But do we measure out like if it's the leg of that DCDM, like the box itself, or do we go with the regular whatever target that we're ATM that we have? Is my question.
Okay. Well, it now becomes a HMD, right? So do we measure anything on an HMD?
Well, no, it's outside the box. It's not an HMD.
Okay. Well, what is it outside the box? What's it called?
It's just a regular falabella dot.
Right. So is that a strategy?
Well, no, the reason why I'm asking the question is the dot by itself is not a strategy, but the reason why I'm asking is because you mentioned that you go with the color of the dot, not the color of the box. So if you get a green dot, then you would take it up instead of down into the shark box.
Right. But there's no measurement. Like where I feel like you are trying to insert the necessity to measure something when there's no necessity to measure. Does that make sense?
No, for sure. I just had that question. That was it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you may find that. I've never done a study on that. If you want to do a study on it and come up with a new strategy, because it would be, you're talking about, you're not asking about my strategies. You're asking, hey, would this be a strategy? And what I would say is, like, there are people that can come up with those. We've got a few examples. So somebody in our crew, Simon, for instance, he came up with the plover, right? He, using our tools, understanding our tools, discovered the plover along the way as he's doing his normal market replay and things. So Plover came about. We have another example, Smasher, right? Smasher came up with a strategy where we've got the, on the MACD, the histogram, we've got levels inside of there. That's the Masher strategy. I had him do 6 months of backtesting to find that. So if you want to do 6 months of backtesting on what your, give your strategy a name, and if you find that if you measure from the bottom, because I think I know what you're saying. Like, I'm going to draw this out. I believe you are saying this. So we have... The example that we were using was we had, let me draw it small, let me draw it down below here. We had our Shark PRZ box, and if a green dot shows up back behind here, like this, actually it would be weird, it would be dot, 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 and we get long. You are asking, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying, could I measure from here to like here to try to get a projection out here somewhere? Is that correct?
Correct. The size of your target from the line to the box. Yeah, correct. That's exactly what I'm saying.
This is what you're asking, but I want to make sure you know I've never taught this ever, right?
No, of course. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you've taught it.
I'm going to just give the warning right now. If I did not teach it, the best thing for you to do is don't fucking waste my time with it. Are we good? Okay, because I've just wasted 5 or 10 minutes of our time here throwing me off track by asking me some bullshit that you already know. For a fact, I don't teach this. Don't bring this shit in my room unless you've already backtested it and found it yourself. This goes for everybody. If you think that you found a fucking strategy, I'm not interested. You understand? I don't want to hear it. I had somebody the other day waste hours of my time on a phone call showing me like, no, Vinny, I found the holy grail. I got this thing. I think you're really going to love it. Really going to love it. Again, I said, well, how far have you backtested this? Oh, it's been working great recently. I said, have you gone back 6 months? No. Listen, do not waste my time with the bullshit. All right. No offense to you. And again, by the way, I'm going to watch one of your videos here in a moment. I'm going to do some critiques. I want you to be the best. First of all, I want to make sure you understand. I am critiquing you and I'm coming strong at you because I love you, right? As a father to a son, to a child, to say, I am disciplining you so that you stay on course. Do not let your mind wander. Don't look at the clouds and try to see Bart Simpson in it, okay? It's just a cloud. At the end of the day, don't fit square pegs in round holes, all right? Our strategies are specific. They are good. Stick with them and they will be your friend, okay? But yes, this is not a part of our program. So again, don't ask about that. I'm not going to teach you about your strategy that you think that you found, right? Like, go prove to me that it works, and then come and present it to me. But yeah, so that's not here nor there. I was trying to like, what am I missing? All right, nothing missing on that. Your target on one of these, according to our rules, let's go with our rules, how this would work, okay? You get a green dot back here. What do we do with this? This is just a standard. Now treat it like it is an HMD. Why? Because it is a dot powered by the harmonic. Remember, a harmonic zone in a PRZ is a power up zone for us, okay? Now it's not what PRZ stands for, but when I teach it, I'm telling you that it is like a power-up zone. Something that happens in that zone after we've had a series of fib level response, because that's what a harmonic is. It's like, okay, I've got this, 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 and this, and it's perfect, right? You got this perfect sound, bing, then we have this other thing oftentimes. So what we're doing is using the power of that and applying it to that dot. That dot is now powered up, so it is no longer a dot by itself. It is a dot with something else. This is now going to be defined as an HMD. What is an HMD? Harmonic dot. It is a harmonic plus a dot, right? So how do we apply our targeting for a harmonic dot? Very simple. Targeting on a harmonic dot is still going to be depending on what time frame I'm on. So on an algo bar, 2 or 3, then it's going to equal 10 to 15 ticks, right? And then this scales up. So you'll scale up based on our ATMs. And you also want to take into account the same thing that we would on a regular HMD is, do you have favorable direction with you or not? And Favorable will determine whether you have runners. So while your default 2 targets will be 10 and 15, if you happen to be, you got favorable direction plus MACV with you, wow, then we can maybe push out that first target and we might get that big runner and hold it out for 30, 40, 50, 100 ticks on that one because we've got favorables with us, plus the break of this, which also powers it up. We've got all of that power behind it. This is one of those where you might have that opportunity to take those runners, but there are no measurements involved. The main thing I want to make sure, I don't want anybody to be confused where somebody's like, hey, well, I saw Vinny measuring that box and whatnot. I want everybody to know what I was measuring there and showing it, that was not part of our strategies. So not to be confused by that, but I wanted to make sure this is 100% clear for anybody who knows. What is our targeting off of this? Just standard ATM, 10, 15 on the lows, 15, 25s on the highs. If you got everything with you, maybe runners. All of our normal order of operations, nothing changes. We keep things simple here. Do not try to overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. You will have more success. Cool? All right, good stuff, good stuff. Sharkback needs no dot. You should watch the videos on HMDs. Yes. Can the harmonics traded raw or should accompany a dot? Particular ones, again, the specials, Praveen. The question was, can the harmonics be traded raw? Particular ones, actually only one. The shark back by itself is a strategy that you can do because the R ratio is so good, right? That R, the risk to reward ratio on the shark all the way to target 1 is very, very small risk, low risk, and high reward on a shark play, a shark back particularly, right? But even think about this, a shark tail, that's not by itself, right? It's not raw. It is with a cross or a dot, some other item behind there. It could be an alpha omega back behind it. So everything else is with something else. Even the diamond, so diamond by itself is nothing. Diamond plus a dot, right? We have a diamond dot strategy, but no other harmonic should be traded raw, in my opinion. Now, if you have multiple harmonics, sure, multiple harmonics, we have that in our videos. You can see that if you got 2 or 3 in one location lining up in the same spot, sure, you can take that play off of that. But again, still the risk is still there. You've got to put the stop back behind the box because if you got, let me just draw it out so we're not trying to make air toys here. If you have a green PRZ down here, might be something minor like a cipher. Maybe lined up with a butterfly on top of it. Sometimes you'll see multiples, and then maybe, I don't know, a shark would look like this. It'd be like, boom, some big shark play. When this whole zone lights up, okay, you might want to take a shot in here, but be careful. Make sure that you still are following order of operations, right? OOP, I see a lot of people get really excited when they see all these line up, but I'll tell you what, a lot of times when all of these line up like this, you'll see us kind of really start to break on through all of those. And it's because you didn't pay attention to order of operations and MACV, right, was still screaming at you that it's red, right? But you're like, oh, but I see 3 harmonic PRZs all lined up in this spot. You know, it's going to be a bloodbath. We're going up the other direction. And ultimately ends up being, well, no, it doesn't. And it has to do with, remember, try to take all of your trades in the direction of that MACV filter and you will be saved by a lot of pain and headache. However, if you got MACV in your direction, long, and you get all these PRZs lined up in one place, and take a shot at it. Go for it, right? Nothing's 100%, but will I take a shot? Sure. Take it like, practice it like a video game. You got 5 shots. If you want to take a shot at that, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you keep your stops proper, nothing wrong with taking a shot, right? That should answer that one. Difference and strength of MACV vertical line. Difference and strength of MACV vertical line color switch versus histogram color switch correctly in order of operations, and how it can be used together for added confluence. This is a very complex topic, Goku. There's a whole video on using the MACV for filtering, but the simple answer is the vertical line color shift is just a warning sign that we may be shifting. It is not a sign that we are shifting. Okay, be very careful of that. The histogram is everything. You want to just keep that in mind. Just go with the histogram. If you're trying not to complicate things. Okay, histogram color equals all. What is the color of that? And then even better, if you're trading the E-minis with the 4 that we do, you're going to focus on the MACV ultimate color, whatever color that is right there. The vertical is more of a, hey, what is immediately happening right now? This is just a signal that we could be shifting, and it is not a shifting that we are. It is not a guarantee that we are. In fact, that's why it's in the gray zone. As soon as that vertical comes, you'll see this little 8-bar gray zone. Okay, looks like this. So you got your big green line showing off to the right. I don't have gray in color, so we're using orange here, but you will have 8 bars of space here that says, hey, this is kind of the neutral zone out of that. So while it was red on this side, the green vertical is saying, hey, we might shift right here, okay? But we are not there until, and in fact, oftentimes you can still see a red come in right after it, right? And that's why we want to go with what is the histogram color down below, which is going to be more important as to what is our current bias. Remember, all we're trying to get from the MACV filter is bias, not entries. We can't fit that right there, so I'll put that here. Ah, directional bias. Okay, couldn't fit all in. Maybe can I zoom out? It's not gonna let me zoom out. Okay, directional bias and not entries. So keep in mind that, try not to overcomplicate it. Again, just follow the order of operations. Look at the color there, hold your finger over the button that is in the direction of the histogram. When you see a setup that comes like that, between the large and king size timing, press the button, right? Next one there. MACV histogram is the strength of the bias, vertical lines of the filter. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Vinny. I think this question got lost earlier. If I enter a trade, e.g. red headshot, okay, red headshot, if it goes against me, exit, okay, sure. If the dot disappears, can I still take a second try at the original entry point? Sure. Yeah, if you saw a headshot there, right, and it pierced and went away, I mean, you might want to ask yourself, do you really want to do that? Because that means that that didn't work. So I would say, can you? Yes. Would I? It would be less likely to take that 2-try rule. And remember that the 2-try rule is only if everything else is still intact. If you were already wanting to take that headshot right there because you already had your favorable direction, you had your filtered direction, and you're in timing, right, then you may want to take a shot at that. But if it does pop and break away, you take that first loss, it's less likely to be working on that second one. So be careful of that. In general, I would go, I don't know, like, why would you want to take it? Maybe send me an example of one of those, but in general, I would say, I might be asking, can I take a second try on any trade? Yes, you always can. There's nothing saying that you can't. There are ones that you will absolutely want to, like a double cross, double move, for instance. But in a case like here on the headshot, remember that the second try rule is still optional, but oftentimes can be very powerful if that breaks through by just a tick or so. Just make sure as it's coming back through that it is still, it's got everything else. Maybe it's got a delta ready up to the left of it, or it's got some other thing. Remember, combining our stuff is more powerful than using anything alone. Always remember that, okay? We're trying to combine those things. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Ace. Put in, there's your AlgoBox MACV video. Thank you for dropping that in there. It's a perfect timing for dropping that in. Perfect. If the vertical line on the MACV past the 8 bars are green, the ultimate is showing the opposite direction. Which one should I follow, or how do I read it? Always the ultimate. Ultimate, always. Yeah, ultimate. The ultimate is going to be your ultimate bias. It is the ultimate for the reason of that the majority of all other main related, correlated instruments are in the direction of X, whatever that is, red or green. If you're having to choose between the two, choose between the big daddy, go with the ultimate. 100%. But know that it might be starting to shift. So you have to, everything that we're doing here is having you be able to read the markets more efficiently with red light, green light style colorings. But you know that, well, it could be shifting, right? So be careful. But what's awesome about that, I'll tell you what's really neat, is when you get a shift back. Okay, so let's let me show you one of my favorite things that happens. And I talk about this in the Algomatrix video, is when you have big red, all right, everything is solid red on MACV, everything is red, 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 red across the boards. The ultimate is showing red, 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 okay, and then I get that green shift somewhere, okay, usually it's gonna be the NASDAQ first, okay, So a green bar will show in Q particularly, because why? Why NQ? Because NQ tends to be the leader, right? NQ is going to move the fastest of all. So NQ shows a sign of green. Some people are like, oh, it's going green, so everything else is going to go green. No, actually, it's the opposite. What tends to happen is we go, it's all been red prior. This got red. It goes green. And then all of a sudden, boom, back red. That red can almost signal an entry, get short. Okay? It's almost like it took that little breather. It's like getting its pullback, and then boom, slam it. Okay, back, you guys remember my whack-a-mole strategy that I don't do too often anymore because we don't have to manually draw anything. But what's a whack-a-mole? The wham. Old school, we're throwing back some wham here. What's the wham? Whack-a-mole. Wedge. Also has to do with the wedge. So on a wedge, we get price popping out in the final third, right? Our ideal location is on the final third, if you're measuring that out, 1/3 of the wedge. And we get a pop out of price coming up and out, right? And then we look to the left where an original price had come up and we touched inside of our wedge. We're making it. We look over here to the left as this pops out. We look to the left. Here is our previous pivot. You draw a horizontal line over to this location. What do I want to do right there? I'm going to bring in my whack-a-mole Gigantosaurus slam hammer, right? And I want to come in here and I want to slam that sucker right back down into that wedge all the way to the other side, full target down here. Target 1, edge of the wedge. Target 2, other side of the wedge. This is target 1. This is target 2. Okay? This is the wham method, right? So same type of scenario oftentimes when you've got that bias in that direction, and if you see that green bar print, oops, on the MACV, where what Roxy's asking is, I see that vertical green come in, everything's been red. Type right here. So we were red, boom, boom, everything's red, 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 red. We got that green right there. That's like it popping its little head up like, oh, I'm coming out, I'm coming out. Right. Great time to slam that back down in the end, because oftentimes right after it will do this right here. What you don't want to do is get this tricking you. Here's what you don't want. Don't let this trick you. Okay, this is oftentimes a trap. You're like, okay, phew, we broke out of the zone. Here we go. It's going to get going. And you're like, I want to be the first one in. Oftentimes, the first one in is the guy that finds out that the pool's electrified and you're a dead man. All right, you don't want that. So that could be a trick move. What you end up having, the real move, is when it comes back into that same coloring and you get that huge slam, especially on trend running days, and you don't want to be trading against that. Good questions. Good questions. Go down some history there. All right, so we are right at 1 hour. Let's finish off the last half. I will answer the next sets of questions later this week. I will get to, again, we have a ton of questions in here tonight, and we did a lot of thorough stuff. Let's go in. We've got, I'm going to do 15 minutes of this trade review of one of our members who's about to go live soon. And let's go and check out this video and do some live action. A lot of people get a lot from this. Oh, look at this. Look at these beautiful notes. ES Sharkback Short, ES Mac V plus Delta. Okay, I'm picturing that in my head. Everybody picture that? Y'all talking about Pippi? Pippi and Robbie, man, throws back some memories right there. We'll have some more of that this summer, I think. Once double cross double move shows up, add to position. Available at, I appreciate that. All right, let's roll.
Dow Jones on Tuesday.
Oh, this is super fast. Hold on. Okay, he's got some Mortal Kombat. Is that regular? Is that regular or is that high speed? It feels like that was high speed, right? I hope that was high speed. Man, is that song really actually that fast? I don't know if I might not be able to play that music. I don't know. Let's see.
Dow Jones on Tuesday.
Okay, that's probably gonna give me a headache. I will go ahead and, well, is it the whole song? Let me see. Okay, I think I will lose my mind if I listen to all that. I will probably go ahead and mute it and play my own song here. Hopefully there's no audio cues on this, but all right, let's play it. All right, so we are, what's the time of day here? It looks like 9:10 a.m. Eagles the higher. This is in 4K and I'm trying to do it on a 1K. It's probably not going to go well. Okay, that says 10 a.m. All right, this just turned to 10 a.m. So I'm a little bit nervous that this first play that we're coming into here is right at 10 a.m. So what does he got? First thing I'm thinking, how much time does he have entering into this trade? He's short on a shark back. Speaking of shark backs, he's taking a shark back play right here. Everybody see it, top right? How much time does he have? Pop quiz. How much time does he have and why? Roxy said 10 minutes. She is on it tonight. Yes, 10 minutes and why? Before the danger zone, right? 10-10 danger zone coming up. So he's got it right here. He's got it right here. What is my other concern about maybe the instrument? What's wrong here with, or I don't say necessarily wrong, but what's going to be my concern here with what he's trading? Yes, ES is the last thing I want to trade. Out of my 4, this market better be going very fast. Okay, now let me look at my BPM, bars per minute. It looks like the average was 21 on the ES, so that might be fast. But I see YM is at 20, NASDAQ is at 50. Okay. It's that's a sweet spot. I think it's slightly faster, so I think it's okay, right? But again, my warnings to everybody as we're doing the teaching in general, I want you to leave ES alone in general. And if you are going to take it, okay, right now I can also see that we are against favorable. Can everybody see that he's going against what? I got green, I got green, I got green. So I've got 3 out of 4 long, and he's going short. So what ATM, pop quiz, if he is going to take an ES play against these, if you are going to violate this rule, what ATM must he take? Yes, you guys are saying it, tiny, exactly. He better be on a tiny ATM. So let's see if he's on tiny ATM. No, he's on small. That's probably not good. Okay, now I know he's taking a traditional shark back play here, so I'm better off with that. But what's interesting is let me put this play in here already to you. If ES has a cool setup on it, and you know that it's the granddaddy, right? If ES is going to take a hesitation possible pull play here, I would rather go over here and take anything else but that. I see this is juicy over here. I would rather be taking a short on YM. With the fact that ES is giving me a short, I would rather play the YM play off of a short up here. I've got a divergence play back behind a, juicy spot back here with a huge red alpha omega back here with that play and targets down below as those white lines are showing. Things that I would maybe be wanting to take a play over here. We've got a red dot coming in here on YM. I might be wanting to play this as well. Another thing that I've got to note here while we're here, this is too zoomed in. This is flat, right? I just define this as flat here. Be careful with this chart, right? This is very stretched out and flat-ish. You need to press Control up a couple of times to fix your zoom levels on YM right there. The rest of them look okay. I don't know why YM looks a little bit weird, but this is what I would want to play. I would rather, as I see this play setup come, rather than play ES, I would be taking a short here on the YM. It's after king timing. We got a red dot. We've got the confluence here. Just a lot of things going on in the YM that I would rather do than the ES here, which just makes me a little bit nervous right there, especially because you're 10-10. You know you only have 10 minutes, and ES is also the slowest. Just a lot of things that I'm already thinking about being nervous about this. I would almost even rather, because that setup is there, I would rather take this double cross short right here with an alpha omega and take a shot at that on one of these lines here. We're past king timings. We've got a delta coming in right there. Just a few reasons why I might do that. I'm also nervous about where you're entering here. This is, if you're getting in short right here, you've got a headshot inside of a PRZ. So just a lot of things that make me very nervous about this first play right here. Looks like it's going to work out. So that's good news. But positive reinforcement of a negative sometimes can be detrimental. He crushed that trade. Absolutely crushed it. Very, very cool. So that ended up turning into some other stuff as he went in on that, which, I'm glad it worked out, right? I love it when you don't lose money, okay? But I'm just going in general, I might want to play another play. And in fact, look at any of the other plays would have gotten pretty big moves as well. I know he's also getting paid $12.50 a tick, but you guys understand what I'm saying with this nervousness. I would rather read off the ES giving me just lunch money everywhere else. Every other instrument, if it's going to turn, the others are turning with it in general. And just be careful when you're going against those. You know, it might have just been one of those, hey, we got it, lucky play. But hey, is it a shark back? Yes. Is it a valid play? Yes. Was it still a little bit nerve-wracking? Sure. But I just want to point those out. Nothing wrong with any play. Again, any play. As long as you put your stop in the proper location, we're all good. He made money on that one. Awesome stuff. Let's carry on. Okay, now he's got trade number 2. NQs. I love the graphics here. NQ, sixes. Ooh, he's playing high side. Okay, sixes on the shark back. Oh, another shark back. Okay, he's loving the shark backs. Shark back on the MACV, plus across Omega, Delta, and flag. So he's got the combination. I love that. Remember, I want to applaud this here. Look at all the things he's got going on here. Okay, he's got this shark back coming in on the MACVs. He's also saying he's got the cross with the Omega and the Delta flagging. Multiple things. This is what we're trying to do with our system. Good stuff. Let's have a look. All right, he is right here in queue, taking the long shark back play. Let me get myself out of the way. You guys can see this shark back that he's coming in with right here. Yeah, it broke the back of it just a little bit, but it came back in. So this is a 2 tri-roll shark back. He's going for the front of that on the MACV. Nice juicy target right there. Also combined with the PRZ over here on the right, plus that Alpha Omega that he was talking about. All of that, plus he's got timing too, man. He's got the trifecta going on right here. Great setup, lots of good stuff right there for a play. Let's see how this one goes for him. And targets filled. Very nice, very nice. Man, that was a beauty. Trade number 3. NQ2's pink headshot short. All right. Re-entry on a red dot. Okay, so re-entry. Okay, is this adding to position? So let's go with nomenclature. Right, if he's going to enter in on a headshot short, you get another red dot. I wouldn't say re-entry because re-entry implies that the first one didn't work. So maybe he stopped out. Possibly, I don't know, but this is 2 try rule if he was going to say re-entry. So be careful on nomenclature. I just try to get everybody on the same page. What am I calling here? I would call this 2 try rule. If he missed it on the first one, if this is going to be an add to position, this should be calling add to position. Again, I haven't seen the trade yet, so I don't know. Correction, short. He says he re-enters. Here we go. All right, he's on YM. Nope, he went over here to NQ. All right, so this NQ play right here. NASDAQ taking a short headshot. Boom. Okay, I see it. Let's see where we get here. Now let's look at our MACV. What is MACV telling us across the boards? Oof, this is going to be hard, very hard, right? Why is this going to be a hard play? Pop quiz. You guys tell me. Why is this headshot going to be hard? What's the main thing we see here? What's the worst thing going on here with this? MACV Ultimate is green. Not only is it green, it is solid green. This is a 4 out of 4 green. Okay, now those of you guys who don't follow it, let's count them up. On the MACV Ultimate, right? See that? Green section, big green section, green section, big green section, literally all 4. Okay, you taking a short is death sentence. Okay, you just need to know that, right? If you're going to take it, if you're going to go ahead and take a shot anyways, right? What are you thinking? What's our ATM? What ATM? If I'm going to take that against it, what ATM am I going to choose? Tiny! Yes! Roxy's smoking it. She is all over it. Yes, tiny. Not even small here. We want tiny and maybe small, okay? Tiny to small. Absolutely keeping this very tight to the chest going against, especially when we're all 4. I mean, this is tiny territory all over it. Not even a small because it's all 4. Now, if it was 3 out of 4, okay, maybe. But do 4 out of 4, and these are not slivers, I'm going with tiny, right? So here we go. Let's see how that works. No, got smashed. No surprise. He re-enters a second play, and he gets it on the second try. Okay, that's fine. What he ended up getting, he got his secondary part. He got the red dot that showed up. He got another dot come in right here. 2-try rule. Hey, awesome. He pulled it off. Great stuff. But, you know, again, you can still make money. None of them are going to be 100%. Like, there's no, like, absolute rules to everything. It's just in general, we want to have standard operating procedures that keep the edge in our favor at all times. Very good stuff there. All right, let's see. Looks like we got some good speed. All right, here we go. He's got red headshot in Q3s. Red dot disappears. Pierced. Okay, but moved down once it changed direction and closed it. All right, let's take a peek. Okay, getting short right here. Again, first thing I'm thinking is we are starting to go red, so I see a sliver of red in our MACVs. Very small slivers, but majority is still looking green across the board. So a little bit nervous on any shorts here. Also on this MACV, I don't know if you noticed, there is a green dot right there coming in. Got to respect that a little bit. It could flirt right where with this spot, which might be good because he could hopefully slam that down into it and get a target. Hopefully, again, he's going with a tiny ATM here, but it doesn't look like it. Now, again, he might have a renamed one, but this looks like a 1525, and this one looks like a small. I would have a tiny available. Now, not necessarily on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is such a big player, and he's running off of the threes. A small is probably appropriate here, but yes, we need to be thinking small if we're going against. Now, I do see a lot of reds. He's got a red dot, pink dot, red dot. He wants to take this as a red headshot short. I can't fault that. I think this might work out quite well for him. Let's see how that goes. Oof. Okay, had to close it out. That's all right. At least he closed it out quickly. I like it. Is he going to re-enter? Like he thought about it. It ends up going down for him. Got his finger over the buy. Now let me see why he's got his finger over the buy here. Inside of a crab. MACV is technically red now. Shifting red. It's basically neutral. He can take either side now, so that's fine. If he's going to take a shot here, let's see what he plays out here. I'll say something that I do like about what he's doing there. Okay, he didn't take any trade. I'll give some more awesome commencement to him is that he is not fidgeting. Y'all notice that he's not fidgeting? He's not fidgeting with the charts. He's not wiggling the charts around. He's got his fingers over the buttons. So props to Franco. He has got it. He's keeping his fingers over the hot zones, right? We went over this in our last videos of this is a hot zone. This is a hot zone, right? Leave the stuff in the middle alone. We do not get paid to float our mouse here, right? And you notice he's doing a good job. He's got his fingers over the triggers. That's good. That means he can react quickly. He can get in and can get out. This is what you want to do as a gamer style, approaching the markets like a gamer. All right, trade number 5, shark back. Oh, another one of our favorites, shark back in Q6s. That means it's got big potential there. Delta King. Oh, that's beautiful. With Omega Cross. Wow, this sounds like a killer combo kill. All right, added on the green dot. Closed when dot disappears and the direction changed. All right, there's going to be some complication here. This is going to be fun. Let's look. Shark back in Qs, 6s. This is his 5th trade. Okay, so final trade of the session. Now let's look at the time of day here. Oh no! Does that say 10, 11? Okay, we're 1 minute past no-go time. Is he going to take a trade during the no-go zone? I think so. If I'm reading that correctly. It's hard for me to read this, but I believe that says 10, 11. He's 1 minute past where he shouldn't be taking a trade. Let's see what happens here. It's interesting. I want to go back to that previous trade to see, did he actually take that at 10-10? So that may have been an avoidable loss. 10-10. There's 10-10 on the chart. I mean, he would have been taking it. It's between 9 and 10, like minute 9 and 10. Very, very difficult there. Probably starting to be ready to be sitting on hands right there. So that other loss he just took, avoidable loss. Everybody understand that? 10-10. If you guys understand that he could have avoided that loss, type me 10-10. 1010 in the chat, knowing he could have avoided that loss with the 10-10 rule. Now, I think he might, I don't know, we're going to see how he plays this. It sounded complicated, right? And what did I just say? It's probably going to be complicated. Why? Probably because the same thing y'all are typing in right now, because it is in the 10-10 no-go zone. We're 10-10 to 1030, and I think he's about to take a trade. So these are newbie mistakes, right? He's in his final 40 days, so this is not a scenario where he should just be taking everything kind of thing. I believe. Now, Franco, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're in your final 40 days on this, so you should be, you know, taking into account filtering. But right now, big red flag. You're taking a trade here at 10-10, and right now it's going to be 10-11. So let's see how this works out, and we'll talk about it. Oof. Yep. Okay. So the time is 10-11. He should not be taking this trade. Now, I get it. There are the rules. Okay. Yes, I know what people say all the time. Well, rules are made to be broken. Well, they are, as long as you've got an account size to match your brokenness, okay? But just, you know, and listen, some of these are going to work out. I'm not telling you that every trade that you take during this window of time is going to lose, but I am going to tell you that if you want to flip a coin on how often that's going to occur, okay, your statistical edge is diminishing during this window of time. We'll just put it that way, all right? Here we go. Franco's got the balls of steel. Yes, all right, here we go. Oh, is he gonna get there? He gets it. Yeah. Oh, he adds. And oh, it's going so. Oh, and he closes. Okay. I don't know. Okay, that was complicated. All right, that was very complicated, and I don't know. He might have made some money on that. It's hard to tell with that, but there's definitely some in and out on that, flipping around. Let's watch it one more time. How many little clicks and clacks he had to do there with this? Way behind on that entry too, so very, very scary play for that time of day. If you took the trade when it looked like this, then hey, clap, clap, clap. All right, if you get in right at that sucker right there, boom, go long. Okay, fine, and I'm good with it. But I'm a little bit nervous how far behind that was. I'm glad it worked out for him and that he didn't take. My main thing is a huge applause for not taking a big loss. Can we all give him a massive round of applause? Everybody put a hand clap emoji in the chat. He did not take a big loss. That is the biggest key. Folks, even if you mess up, please take a small loss. Take a small loss, close it out, refix. There's going to be another play coming up. That's the beautiful thing about our system. Here we go. Watch this thing hurt. Way behind the entry. Gets there, gets a few, doesn't get the last one. Adds to position because the green dot comes in. That's not going to work out well. He closes it out basically where he had to start adding to position. I don't know if he made any on that. Very, very nerve-wracking play there. Ends up, if he had the long play at that spot there, you know, does make out, does make it, adds to position there on the bat and things. But again, one of those where once you start to get to this time of day, things are going to be way more shaky, way, you know, wider, less predictable. And what we're looking for is times of day when we've got more predictability, right? So another one that easy, not necessarily one to avoid, but less stress. Okay, J-hook short, sixes. Tried to move all my stops. Got to work on my click, drag, click. Oh, this is true. Click, drag, click. I'm glad he's noticing that. That's good. This is maybe one that you can practice on. I always tell people, if you wreck on a trade, use that same trade and do it 3 times. How many times? 3 times. Just very simple. You know, my daughter in her spelling classes, you know, if they miss any words, what do they have to do? They have to write them 3 times each. Listen, just do the trade 3 times. You'll be surprised at how powerful that is. It works for kids, it works for adults. 3 times each, all right? That's your homework. Go back and run it again. Let's see what happens here on this short on the NQ 6s with a J-hook. Oof, J-hooks again. If it's a pure J-hook, has the biggest amount of risk. I can see the J-hook playing here, but what I don't like is in time of day. Todd, where's Todd at? Somebody slap Todd. Todd, T-O-D, time of day. Somebody slap him, because he is about to wreck somebody, because it's time of day. Time of day is wrong. This is 10:13 a.m. Very dangerous time. Let's see how this works out. He's got the J-hook forming. He goes in. It's a red dot. Normally, hey, great play here. Okay, I'm good with it. Let's see what happens here. This time of day, oh, it makes me nervous already. Chart starts getting jacked up. Oh, his chart jacked up on him. He slid his chart on accident. Look, his chart's messed up. He can't tell his chart's jacked. Oof. Oof. Oh, but he makes it. Oh. Oh, he crushes it. Oh, oh, man, oh man. Todd was good to him today. You better thank Todd, all right? Because Todd was on your side that day, bro. Time of day, handed you a win. Normally, Todd's only handing out losers. So you better be careful. You better thank Todd. What'd you do last night? Did you give Todd something extra? You pay him on the sly, bro. You got away with one right there. All right. Oh, man. Oh, you know what? I'm glad you got away with it. And, man, that is a crushing day. I can't tell how much he made here yet. Hopefully, on my next screen, he gives us a rundown of his total on the day. 7,075 in under 12 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he messed this up left, right, and center and still coming away with 7K. And this is what I've been telling you guys all of the time, is you do not have to be perfect to be, everybody type in the chat, pop quiz, you don't have to be perfect to be, what's that word? Holding over my ear here, waiting for it. What is it? Oh yeah, that's right. Profitable. You do not have to be perfect to be profitable, folks. We are working towards always improving, but you do not have to be perfect. It does not have to be perfectly executed, as long as you are keeping our fundamental rules in check. This is something I want to point out there. The beautiful thing, even when Franco was messing up, did you notice he closed out quickly? As soon as he, boom, 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 closing out. You never saw a trade run away and get away from him. He still would close out that position, get ready, get set for the next one. He knew why he was entering. That's fine. While he might have, missed some of the MACD filterings and whatnot, that's okay. He executed well. He had his stops proper. Again, he didn't have to be moving his stops around much. I think there was one time in there where I saw him moving his stops. But from a perspective of, does he have his core tenets right? Does he have an order operations right? Is he closing out quickly so that he can capitalize on the ones that win? Yes, he is. Franco, here's to you, brother. Congratulations. Well done. You guys who hung out here with us tonight, you guys give yourselves a pat on the back. Huge stars. We got more videos coming out this week. Don't miss those. Happy Mentorship Monday. I will catch you guys on the flip side. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbox, Mossman, Curtis, G, and the rest of the gang. Let's send out that big H-Town. See ya.
Welcome aboard, everyone.
What exactly is AlgoBox, and why do our traders absolutely love it?
Michael Oathroom.